There are 5 aircraft in the United States arsenal that have changed the course of modern conflict. One of them has done something stranger. It has changed how entire countries plan their defense without ever firing a shot at them. That aircraft is on this list, and it isn't where most people would put it, because there is a difference between aircraft that are famous and aircraft that are feared. The list of the most photographed military jets in the world doesn't match the list of aircraft that foreign generals lose sleep over. The list of the most marketed defense systems doesn't match the list of weapons that have actually rewritten how other countries plan their own defense. In the next 15 minutes, you're going to see 5 aircraft. Each one represents a different layer of fear. The first is the fear of a soldier in a trench. The last is the fear of a president in a palace. Each one earned its place in this hierarchy by changing how its enemies behaved, sometimes on the battlefield, sometimes long before the battlefield even existed. And the aircraft at the very top of this list has done something none of the others have ever done. It has rewritten the strategic calculations of nations that have never even seen it in their airspace. There is a difference between an aircraft being famous and an aircraft being feared. And in military history, those two lists almost never match. Famous aircraft win design awards. They appear on movie posters. They get paraded at air shows and photographed at airport fences. Feared aircraft are different. Feared aircraft show up in classified intelligence assessments. They appear in transcripts of captured officers. They force adversary nations to redesign their entire defense doctrine, sometimes before a single one of those aircraft has ever entered the airspace. How is military fear actually measured? It is documented in 3 ways. The first is testimony. After every major American conflict, captured enemy officers and surrendered commanders have been asked which American systems they feared most. Their answers are recorded, analyzed, and declassified years later. These testimonies form a consistent pattern across decades: Vietnam, the Balkans, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. The second is doctrine. When a foreign nation rewrites its air defense plans because of an American aircraft, that is a measurable form of fear. When countries spend billions on new radar systems specifically designed to detect one type of platform, that is fear translated into national budgets. The third is behavior. When the appearance of an American aircraft in a region causes other nations to change their movements, postpone exercises, or quietly redeploy forces, that is fear in its rawest form. Influence without contact. Using all 3 of these measures, the list you are about to see is not a popularity ranking. It is a hierarchy of impact. Each aircraft represents a different layer of fear, and each one earned its place by changing how its enemies behaved. The first one almost did not exist at all. The Air Force tried to retire it multiple times, and every time it was kept in service against the wishes of the very branch that operates it. That story is part of why this aircraft is on the list, and we'll get to exactly why in a moment. But first, what does fear at ground level actually look like? The A-10 Thunderbolt II is one of the strangest combat aircraft ever built. It is slow, it is loud. It looks like it was designed in the 1970s, because it was. And for over 4 decades, the United States Air Force has been trying to get rid of it. The reason it is still flying is not because the Air Force changed its mind. It is because every time the Air Force tried to retire it, somebody else stopped them. The A-10 was built around a single weapon. Most aircraft are designed first and then armed. The A-10 was the opposite. The aircraft was designed around the GAU-8 Avenger, a 30mm rotary cannon 19 feet long, weighing nearly 2 tons, capable of firing 70 rounds per second. To put that into perspective, the cannon alone weighs more than a small car. The recoil from firing it produces enough force to slow the aircraft in flight, and the rounds it fires are made of depleted uranium, designed to penetrate the top armor of main battle tanks. This is the source of the famous sound that ground troops know as the BRRT, a low, sustained roar that means a tank-killing aircraft has arrived overhead. American soldiers describe hearing that sound as one of the most reassuring experiences of their careers. Iraqi tank crews described hearing it as the last sound their vehicles ever made. But the cannon is only half of what makes the A-10 feared. The other half is its survivability. The pilot sits inside a titanium tub, armor capable of stopping 23mm cannon rounds. The aircraft is designed to keep flying with one engine destroyed, half a wing gone, hydraulics shot out, and the tail in pieces. There are documented cases of A-10s returning to base, looking like they had been through a shredder, with their pilots walking away unharmed. In the Iraq War of 2003, A-10s flew thousands of close air support missions, often within minutes of being called by ground units pinned down in urban combat. In Afghanistan, throughout nearly 2 decades of operations, A-10s became the platform that infantry called when they needed sustained, low-altitude fire support that no other aircraft could provide. Across both conflicts, the A-10 is credited with destroying thousands of armored vehicles, hardened positions, and supply convoys. And yet, by the late 2000s, the Air Force was already planning to retire it again. By the 2010s, the plan was formal. By the 2020s, it had been attempted multiple times. The Air Force argued that A-10s were too slow, too vulnerable to modern threats, and that the close air support mission could be done by faster, more advanced aircraft. Every single attempt to retire the A-10 has failed. Why? Because ground troops refused to let it go. Veterans testified before Congress. Army commanders argued openly with Air Force leadership. Members of Congress from districts with A-10 bases blocked retirement budgets. And every time the issue came up, the same testimony emerged. When American soldiers were pinned down, the aircraft they wanted overhead was the A-10. This is the only aircraft on this list that exists today against the wishes of the branch that operates it. It is on this list because of the soldiers it has protected and the enemies it has spent 50 years killing. But the A-10 is the fear of a soldier on the ground. The next aircraft is the fear of an entire armored column. If the A-10 is the fear of a soldier in a trench, the AH-64E Apache Guardian is the fear of an entire armored unit. The Apache is the most lethal helicopter ever flown in combat. It carries a 30mm chain gun under the nose, slaved to the pilot's helmet so it points wherever the pilot looks. It carries up to 16 Hellfire missiles capable of destroying any tank in service. It carries Hydra rocket pods for area suppression. And the Guardian variant, the latest version, adds something that changes everything. The Apache Guardian's longbow radar can detect, classify, and prioritize over 100 targets simultaneously, then share that data with other Apaches in the formation. One helicopter spots the targets. The others fire from positions where they cannot be seen by the targets at all. This is the tactic that earned the Apache its reputation. Soldiers and tank commanders call it tank plinking. A formation of Apaches identifies an armored column from miles away, hidden behind terrain. Hellfire missiles are launched from positions where the Apaches themselves never appear on the column's sensors. Tanks begin exploding without anyone in the column knowing where the fire's coming from. In the opening days of the Iraq War in 2003, Apaches led deep strike missions against Iraqi Republican Guard armored divisions, engaging tanks at standoff range and breaking up formations before they could reorganize. Throughout that conflict, and across nearly 2 decades of operations in Afghanistan, Apaches destroyed thousands of armored vehicles and hardened positions. The Guardian variant, introduced in 2012, became the standard attack helicopter for operations in Iraq again during the campaign against ISIS, in Syria, and in dozens of operations rarely covered by the public. A single Apache squadron carries the firepower of an entire armored battalion, and it can move that firepower to any point on the battlefield in minutes. That is why armies that face American forces no longer move large armored formations during the day. The lesson of the Apache was learned the hard way by the people who learned it last. But the Apache fights during the day and during the night when it can be seen. The next aircraft on this list does something different. It owns the dark. The AC-130J Ghost Rider is the modern descendant of an idea that began in Vietnam. The idea was simple, and it was almost insane. Take a 4-engine cargo aircraft, cut holes in its left side, mount artillery in those holes, and fly it in slow circles over the battlefield. That idea became the AC-130 gunship, and it has been the most feared low-altitude weapons system in the American arsenal for over 50 years. The current variant The AC-130J Ghost Rider carries a 105mm cannon, the same kind used on towed howitzers, mounted in its left side. It carries a 30mm chain gun. It carries precision-guided small-diameter bombs. It carries Hellfire missiles. It carries Griffin missiles. It can engage multiple targets simultaneously and deliver sustained, accurate fire for hours at a time. This is the part that makes it different from every other aircraft on this list. The AC-130 doesn't pass over the target. It orbits the target. It circles for 30 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, raining precision fire on whatever is below, and then refuels and continues. Throughout the Iraq War from 2003 onward, AC-130s engaged enemy armored columns and fortified positions at night, with documented missions that destroyed dozens of vehicles in single sorties. In Afghanistan, AC-130s became the platform that special forces called when nothing else could keep them alive. In the Battle of Marja in 2010, in the Helmand province, AC-130s sustained fire support for ground troops over multiple consecutive nights, neutralizing positions that conventional airstrikes could not reach. In the campaign against ISIS in Iraq and Syria from 2014 onward, AC-130s engaged convoys, command centers, and infantry formations across hundreds of operations. There is a documented operational pattern across multiple American conflicts. Adversaries who fought during the day suffered heavy losses. Adversaries who fought during the night against AC-130 coverage suffered something worse. They lost the ability to see what was killing them. The aircraft orbited above the visible ceiling of small arms fire and most shoulder-fired air defense. The fire it delivered was precise enough to engage individual vehicles, individual buildings, individual fighters, and sustained enough that an entire engagement could be conducted by one aircraft alone. In multiple after-action reports from across 2 decades of operations, captured fighters described the same thing. They preferred to fight during the day because at night they could not see where the fire was coming from. They could only see what it was doing. The AC-130 is the fear of the night itself, but even darkness has limits. The next aircraft on this list operates in a different domain entirely, and the people who fear it are no longer soldiers. They are pilots. The F-22 Raptor is the only aircraft on this list designed not to fight ground troops, not to support infantry, not to destroy tanks. It was designed for a single purpose: to shoot down every other fighter aircraft in the world before they ever knew it was there. It has succeeded so completely that no other nation has been allowed to buy one. The Raptor entered service in 2005. Its specifications redefined what a fighter aircraft could do. Stealth shaping that reduces its radar signature to the size of a small bird. Supercruise, the ability to fly faster than the speed of sound without using afterburners, which most other supersonic aircraft cannot sustain for more than minutes at a time. Thrust vectoring, which allows the aircraft to maneuver in ways that conventional fighters physically cannot match. Sensor fusion that combines radar, infrared, and electronic warfare data into a single picture for the pilot. In red flag exercises, the United States Air Force's most realistic large-scale air combat training, F-22s have repeatedly achieved kill ratios of 100-to-1 or higher against the best fighters operated by allied nations. F-15 pilots, F-16 pilots, Eurofighter pilots, and Rafale pilots have all reported the same experience. They detect the F-22 only when their aircraft begins receiving missile lock warnings. By that point, the engagement is over. In real-world operations over Syria from 2014 onward, F-22s escorted strike packages and intercepted Russian and Syrian aircraft. Russian pilots, in subsequent reporting, described being approached by F-22s they could not see on radar. The F-22 announced its presence by appearing visually beside their cockpit and waving them off. There is a reason the Raptor was never sold to American allies. The F-15 was sold to Israel, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. The F-16 has been sold to dozens of countries. The F-35 is being sold to allied air forces around the world. But the F-22 is governed by a 1998 Act of Congress that explicitly prohibits its export to any foreign nation. including the closest American allies. The reason is technological exclusivity. The capabilities that make the F-22 effective are also the capabilities that the United States has chosen to keep entirely within its own arsenal. Allies operate the F-35. Only the United States operates the F-22. China and Russia have spent 2 decades trying to build an equivalent. The Chinese J-20 and the Russian Su-57 have both been described by their own designers as 5th-generation fighters. Independent assessments, however, have consistently concluded that neither aircraft matches the F-22 in stealth, in supercruise, or in sensor integration. The gap may be narrowing, but it has not closed. For pilots who fly against the United States or who train for the possibility of flying against the United States, the F-22 represents a specific kind of fear. It is the fear of being shot down by something you never saw, in an engagement you never knew was happening, in airspace you thought was clear. But even the F-22 isn't the aircraft that keeps foreign leaders awake at night. The aircraft at the top of this list does something the F-22 cannot do. It changes outcomes before it even arrives. There are only 20 B-2 Spirits in operational service. They are based at a single airfield in the middle of the United States, Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. From there, they can reach any target on Earth in under 24 hours without refueling on the ground anywhere along the way. The B-2 is on this list, and it is at the top of this list because it has done something no other aircraft in this video has ever done. It has changed the defense doctrines of foreign nations without ever being used against them. The B-2 was designed during the Cold War with a single mission in mind: to penetrate the most advanced air defense network on Earth, the Soviet Union, and reach strategic targets undetected. By the time it entered service in 1997, the Soviet Union no longer existed, but the aircraft that had been built to defeat it was operational, and every air defense network in the world had to reckon with what it represented. The B-2's signature is what makes it different from every other aircraft. The flying wing shape eliminates conventional fuselage and tail surfaces that radar systems are designed to detect. The aircraft's surface coating absorbs radar energy rather than reflecting it. Its engines are buried inside the wing, with exhaust outlets shaped to dissipate heat that would otherwise be visible to infrared sensors. Its operational radar cross-section has been compared, by official disclosures, to that of a bird. The aircraft can carry up to 40,000 pounds of munitions. It can deliver nuclear weapons. It can deliver the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, a 30,000-pound bomb designed to destroy underground bunkers, protected by hundreds of feet of reinforced concrete. There is no comparable weapon on any aircraft in any other arsenal in the world. But the B-2's most important impact has not come from its actual missions. It has come from the existence of the aircraft itself. In the Iraq War of 2003, B-2s flew opening night strikes against high-value targets across Iraq, hitting hardened command facilities that previous bombing campaigns could not reliably destroy. In 2011, during the Libya intervention, B-2s flew 30-hour missions from Missouri to North Africa and back, striking hardened airfields and command bunkers. Libyan air defense networks were not able to engage them. In 2017, during operations in Afghanistan and across the Middle East, B-2s struck ISIS training camps with munitions delivered from positions adversaries could not detect. But here's the deeper story. North Korea, Iran, and other nations that have considered themselves potential adversaries of the United States have spent decades building air defense systems specifically designed to counter the B-2. The S-400 air defense system, operated by Russia and exported to several countries, was developed in part as a response to American stealth aircraft. Chinese radar research has been heavily focused on detecting low observable targets. North Korean strategic planning has explicitly acknowledged the B-2 threat in publicly leaked documents. This is the meaning of fear at the highest level. The B-2 has not been used against North Korea. It has not been used against Iran. It has not been used against China. And yet, all three nations have rewritten parts of their defense planning, spent billions of dollars on counter-stealth systems, and adjusted their force postures based on the existence of an aircraft they have never been struck by. That is a level of strategic influence that no other aircraft on this list has matched. The other 4 aircraft on this list change the battlefield. The B-2 changes the negotiating table. When American B-2s are deployed forward, as they have been to Diego Garcia, to Guam, to Australia, to undisclosed locations near contested regions, adversary nations adjust their behavior. Exercises are postponed. Movements are recalculated. Public statements shift. The B-2 is the only aircraft in modern military history that produces strategic effects without engaging in combat. Its takeoff is the message. Its arrival in a region is the consequence. Its weapons are the final layer of an effect that begins long before the aircraft enters contested airspace. That is why it sits at the top of this list, not because it has the largest cannon, not because it can dogfight, not because it can support troops in close combat, but because it has done what no other military aircraft has ever done. It has rewritten the strategic calculations of entire nations simply by existing. 5 aircraft, 5 layers of fear. The A-10 is the fear of a soldier in a trench. The Apache is the fear of an armored column at dawn. The AC-130J is the fear of the night sky over a contested valley. The F-22 is the fear of every fighter pilot who has ever wondered whether the airspace ahead is actually clear. The B-2 is the fear of leaders in capitals, leaders who have rewritten national doctrines based on an aircraft most of their citizens have never seen. What these 5 aircraft have in common is not technology, it is layered effect. Each one operates at a different level of military reality. Together, they form a vertical stack of American air power. From the individual rifleman on the ground, all the way up to the strategic decisions made in palaces and parliaments thousands of miles from any battlefield. No other nation operates this full stack. Some nations operate aircraft that resemble 1 or 2 of these platforms. Russia has heavy ground attack aircraft. China has long-range bombers. France and the United Kingdom operate capable multi-role fighters. But no other military on Earth fields all 5 layers. Close air support, attack helicopter dominance, sustained gunship orbit, 5th-generation air superiority, and intercontinental strategic stealth. At this level of integration and operational maturity, that stack took 80 years to build. The lessons it represents were learned across Korea, Vietnam, the Balkans, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and dozens of operations in between. Each aircraft on this list exists because of specific lessons. Lessons paid for by the people who fought before it was developed and the adversaries who learned what it meant to be on the wrong side of the technology. What you see in the sky is aircraft. What is felt on the ground is hierarchy. 5 aircraft, 5 different kinds of consequence, and one very specific message that has been delivered to anyone who has ever considered facing them. If you found this interesting, subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out other videos on our channel.